It's a lovely good afternoon to everyone tuned in to Camnet TV. Welcome to another exciting edition of Off the Pitch, and I'm your host for today, Augustine Mwanza, aka Rio Flowers. With me in the studios, we've got a special guest, Mr. Tandika Chiro, a veteran sports analyst. Welcome back, Mr. Tandika.
Oh, thank you. Good afternoon to you and good afternoon to the viewers.
Thank you very much. And our co-host on the far end, Uncle Robson. Uncle Robson, good to see you.
Good afternoon, dear viewers, and welcome back to another great show. It's been lovely, and we thank God that we've been spared, and we are here as people that give you nothing but sports analysis and what is happening in the world of sport.
Yeah. You may be surprised that Amos, aka Amore, is not in the studio. We've sent him alone to Nkana to help them play continental football. No. Yes.
Yeah. Mr. Young Man is gone on loan. He's gone for travels, but probably he's just somewhere in Charleston. There's a pitch called in Koroma Stadium there. Probably Amos is even watching.
Red Arrows is far much organized than Ghana. But before we delve deep into a discussion, let's just take a short break.
Msika is here. We have you all covered with just 150 kwacha. You can advertise every day from 17 hours to 18 hours. For a 30-second ad, get the benefit of selling your products and services on Msika. For more details, call our marketing department on +260 953 995099 +260 962 444 726 or +260 971 177 467. Email us on info@camnettvafrica.com. Terms and conditions apply.
This is Camnet TV World News. For a prompt response, call +2609 53 995 099 or +2609 62 444 726 or +2609 711 77467. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Welcome back. You're still watching Off the Pitch here on Camnet TV. We come to your screens every Saturday at 12:45 hours. Now let's delve deep into our talking points. Our first talking point is the expulsion of Kawaso Chongo from camp by Michu. Is it Milutin Solodevic? Yeah. Mr. Tandika Chiro, how did you receive that news?
Well, obviously, him being sent off, it came as a sudden news, so to say. But after hearing the technical reason, I wasn't surprised. Kawaso Chongo definitely was the captain, and he captained against Zambia versus Kenya. And in that match, those who watched, he was the weakest link. Yeah, and he started intimidating defenders, those who watched it via the link which was available, the younger ones. Now, obviously, it came as a surprise at this point that actually this is the person, according to the coach's reasons, it's like it's not changing, because what the coach has done is looked at the game Zambia versus Algeria, Zambia versus Zimbabwe, in the games where we're in the same group. At some point, I'm told even again. Then he looked at individual performance of these players. So the coach called Kawaso. He wanted to see, and before the match, we understand that he spoke to him, because the coach spoke to every player. Kawaso repeated the same, like the goal he conceded against the previous experience. So the coach looked at the 9 goals shipped by one person, if I may use that word. Yeah, so that's one of the reasons. Then again, he looked at him, his role as a captain, those relating with young players, his friendships, you see, and his basically general attitude towards hard work and wearing the jersey for Zambia national team. The coach looked at about 3 things technically. Now, I should say this, it takes a technical person to understand the technical reasons. So don't worry if you are struggling, but just accept the way things are. If you are listening and watching, yeah, so that's how it is. So the coach then decided to let him go. In fact, they excused him. That's the word the first released.
Used, yes.
From the camp. But in releasing him, we understand the first spokesperson who was on another TV program during the midweek said actually they flew with him from Kenya and to South Africa, and they opted to let him go to TP Mazembe. But he says no, he's coming to Zambia. The coach went out of his way, sent the driver, he drove him all the way to the Copper Belt. Okay, and then he changed his mind, he was going to be there, and then TP Mazembe, because of a game against AS Vita, we understand, over this weekend. And that's how he was late off the group. Now, people had been asking when they had technical reasons. The coach gives an explanation. Again, there's a problem. Like somebody sang Grace Band set up Pano Pachao Tapavich. And exactly that, you know. So he gives the 3, and it's true, because the coach was also looking at chemistry. Here it is, the same person is failing. And that's why there's the players like Luka Banda. If you saw again in South Africa, it changed. There was Luka Banda and Benson Sakala who partnered. And it was very well, and obviously ended up winning. We didn't even miss Chongo Kawaso. Now, it's not the first time the players will be sent. Sometimes 1994, Gibin Basela, obviously it could be disciplined. We've seen 2012, Clifford, although we can argue Rena was wrong, but the coach made a decision, although others were left wrongly done. We've seen Christopher Katongo, the AFCON winning captain, the only one in the history of Zambian football, being sent by Coach Ona Janza in Indola, you know, let loose. So it's not a big issue, and we shouldn't create a storm in the mud. You get a point. And the fact that the Kawaso is coming from a team where Gideon Imonya is the Konkola Mining Police, is the one who really made the issue, and all those supporters of Kalu, and try to dent the image of the coach and association. Otherwise, they are technically there. All of us have seen, whenever Kawaso has played, you can even give you statistics, all the games Zambia has been conceding. And if you watch Kawaso, and the way he plays for national team and TP Mazembe, they are 2 different Kawaso Chongos. For TP Mazembe will die, and you play his lungs out, you get the point. But when it comes to the national team, that same energy, that patriotism, we don't see it of wearing the jersey. And that's what the coach was saying. He wants to see players, one of chemistry, but also apply themselves by wearing the Chipolopolo jersey, you know, for the nation. And he said no player is bigger than the nation or the national team. And that's how it should be. So all of us who could be supporters of Kawaso or not, the issue is the coach has laid the issues at hand, and it's up to the player to reform in those areas. perhaps in future others can consider him, unlike what we have seen in social media, in discipline. First he says he doesn't know, second we see it in the newspaper, no, he's saying the coach is a liar. So who is a liar? It's him. Because if you're saying you don't know, then why you say no, it's not? Again, change. Whoever is handling him, I think, is not doing a good job. That could be destroying a player's career. And I hope that this issue should be put to bed. So Kabanso is not a part of the team. It's up to Coach Micho now to find who. Although we know Ivan Sikangwa captained because he's got more caps than Lubambo. He's got 28 caps for the national team. Lubambo 27, and he was the senior most. Yes, an AFCON winner, so to say. So that's the issue. And for me, this issue, people have been peddling, no, because it's associated with Kalusha Kampa. How come Lubambo Msonda played? Who came from Kalusha Gwala's team? Yeah, so it has nothing to do with that, yes. The likes of Evans and others. So people shouldn't speculate. They should look at the reasons given, and that's why it should end. Unlike other things.
Just to add to this topic, I clearly, during the course of the week, I didn't want to, I didn't even think of doing that. You see, even at our workplaces, we go through disciplinary processes. The prerogative of the coach is to decide which players should play for him. One, we've given Micho a task. What is the task? Qualifiers to the Africa Cup. How he does it, it's none of your business. You and I should not even be part of it. The process of him trying to be pushed against the wall in a corner to explain, to give you reasons, he doesn't owe you a reason. If the results are not coming our way, then he must explain why the national team is not ticking. How he does his chemistry in the team, that is his job. We can't take all Facebook coaches to start debating an issue which the coach has labeled to say it's a technical issue, technical reasons. Now, apparently I was so disappointed. They keep pushing the coach to give so many explanations about it. The job that Micho has is to qualify the national team to AFCON. Which players he uses, that is his prerogative. And I'm glad he faced the media and said, Andrew Kamanga and his team do not force players on the technical bench. I decide which players are coming. And I'm glad after assessing these pros who came, he was on the media. And okay, we have a call.
Hello, you are through to Off the Pitch. Is Augustine on the line? Who am I speaking to?
You are speaking to James Niland, and I'm calling you.
Good afternoon.
Zaka. Good afternoon, thank you.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, thank you.
Hello.
Hello, are you able to get me?
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, thank you.
Okay.
I think we've lost the caller. Yeah, you can go on corruption.
So what I was saying is, I think from my end, I've been in the corporate world for quite a number of years. Disciplinary processes are not something that we must be debating. Yeah. We've seen people get dismissed at jobs, get suspended because of several reasons. It doesn't mean your employer owes you an explanation when you go through that process. The issue is they've given you an opportunity to exculpate yourself. And I believe Coach Micho and the team manager had a lengthy discussion prior to that decision. I don't see a coach who should just wake up and say, oh, this one is going because of this and this. He must have taken time to speak to the player. Probably we were not there. The player must have responded in a certain way. And the decision was made to let him go instant. Why? Because the chemistry which Coach Micho wanted in the squad was not there in the presence of the skipper who was there, Kabaso Chongo. So for me, let the coach do his job. As fans, let us wait for the results. The qualifiers are just around the corner, and the coach should do his job. That's, I think for me, the Kabaso story should even come to an end. We had Difo Chavala being sent off from camp. It's not the first time that we're experiencing this. In the past, those of you who can recall, Godfrey Chitaru was also sent packing from camp. Why? Because there are several examples, like Chiro has given. The AFCON captain was sent off from camp by Wana Janza. So those things are normal in football. I don't even understand what is so special about Kabaso Chongo that everybody should be talking about.
I think
it should go to bed and we should forget about it.
Just to look at the statement which came out from the Football Association of Zambia, do you think that they were a bit wrong in the way they came out to announce to the general public to say, we wish him all the best in his career? What does that mean? Like
I have said, I have been in the corporate world. That is football. every time when you are being dismissed, that is a closing remark everywhere. We wish you all the best in your future endeavors. There's nothing strange, nothing new. The thing is, if Kawaso works on his discipline, the door is not closed. Coaches come, coaches go. Mitchell can be fired any time after he fails to qualifiers. Probably he won't even see his 3 years of the contract if he doesn't perform. That is just how football is. An incoming coach is going to come and say, oh, may I like Kawaso Chongo? He will be called back. He's a Zambian citizen and he qualifies to be in the team. It doesn't mean the door has been closed. It can be closed when one coach is in charge. When the next one comes, the player can come back and play.
And just away from the Kawaso Chongo saga, let's call it a saga. Mr. Tandika, how did you rate Zambia's performance against South Africa, coming from behind and beating South Africa by 2-1 at their own backyard?
By the way, even on the same press, the coach also addressed the issue of Cletus Chamacho.
Yes.
And he said actually at his age would have not necessarily recalled him, but because of his skills, they wanted to assess him. So even him is living on grace period. I think this issue, this issue of trying to behave as though you are entitled to play for the national team, it's neither here or there. It's up to the coach who is in charge.
Mr. Tandika, I think we have got a caller on the line. Good afternoon. You are through to Off the Pitch, and I'm your guest on the line. Who am I speaking to?
All right, good afternoon. This is Tembo Amon.
Hello?
Yes, this is Tembo Amon.
Hello, you are through to Off the Pitch.
Yes, this is Tembo Amon.
Sorry, we lost that caller. You can call back again. The number is scrolling on your screen. So, Mr. Tandika, you are on the floor.
Yes, so as I was saying, so these players really, they need to think it through, because you see, when there's a FIFA window, all of us know, even the clubs, when the player should be released, and even them. So they shouldn't do fun things. I mean, if the coach sets a time and a day, and that's what the discipline Labson was talking about, you should adhere to it. Or rather say, I'm not willing, so that taxpayers' money is not wasted. Yeah, to send you air ticket. But anyway, the game against South Africa, we saw a Zambia which looked disorganized in the first half. With the substitution in the second half, Zambia came in force, and we've seen Kampamba Mulenga. Kampamba Muvanga. Yeah, Kelvin Kampamba Muvanga. Coming to the party. In the first 2 games, he provided assists. In this one, he had to score. Now, if you look at it critically, you'll see Zakaria Chilongo come to the party. Kondwan Chiboni, this is the player the coach talked about, who covered about 15 kilometers.
Yeah.
Normally, Champions League, 12 kilometers average.
The most.
Yes, and he talked of him flying. The young man from Power Dynamos. So it's a good thing. We saw the partnership of Luka Banda and his colleague Benson Sakala very well, although the first goal, there's much to be done. In other words, from the defensive midfield, I think we need to find an anchor man who is very solid. And I describe this team as the work under construction. Yeah, I think it still needs to be strengthened. And we saw obviously Chabula, who was wasteful in the game against Malawi as a striker. He was able to find the back of the net this time, which is good, and hopefully to give him confidence moving ahead. So all in all, against South Africans, I didn't expect Zambia to win. I thought maybe a draw. Looking at it, that people would argue, we beat them, but South Africa is better than us now. If you look at in the CAF rankings, they are 13th in Africa. Zambia is 19th. World Coca-Cola FIFA rankings, they are also ahead of us. If you look at their league, is 60th and we are 7th. And if you look at their team, has been there for some time. And they call the players like Pesi Tau, who plays high-profile team in Belgium, in Europe itself. Our case, if you compare 1-1, South Africa were ahead of us, and they were in their backyard. So, and it has taken so many years to beat them in a friendly match. I know we've beaten them in this other competition. So it tells you that how stiff it is and how too close it is. All in all, we hope that the coach has seen is the strength of the team, the weaknesses, the threats, the opportunities, and obviously you do a SWOT analysis, being a technical person. Yeah, I believe that this match has given confidence to the team, because we've played a team which is better than us, and therefore it should build from there. And that's why I have confidence that coming to meet Botswana, we should be able to beat them. Yeah, because we've gone through a bigger hurdle. Therefore, it should not be a very big problem for us to come and get a result against Botswana back to back. So all in all, I would say that even the absence of the captain wasn't felt in that match, and the things were normal.
Blessing in disguise. Right. Because what we need is a chemistry to it. Yeah. For me, my take is I've watched the 3 qualifiers, and in summary, I think we are on the right path as a nation. The three things that the coach mentioned that senior players should have, I will not be able to go through them. Those are very, very critical qualities of a senior player, which we are lacking in our captain. But if everybody who's coming understands how Mitchell does his work, we are in for a good time. I'll tell you one thing. I was very impressed with what Fashion said. He spoke very highly of the coach. He says, whilst I was away, I never met this coach, but he kept on calling me every week, encouraging me and telling me what he needs to do. He was watching my games. And you see, for a player to even get an invitation to come and play for the national team after the coach has been talking to you week in, week out, it's very, very encouraging. You can tell that he means well for the team. So for those that are going to fall out of favor, such is life. Not all of you can play for the national team.
Life goes on.
Yeah. It's 11 out of 11. We only need 11 out of the 19 million Zambians. So opportunities come, opportunities go. The only thing that we will probably see, I am hoping that he has a soft spot for Cletus. We need a player of that guy's caliber. I have seen the guys, I've seen all the 3 games that we've played. For me, we need an anchorman. An anchorman, if he's hearing, try and consider Dixon Chapa. That guy is a very, very good holding midfielder for NAPSA Stars.
So do you think the holding midfield is the reason why we're being too exposed? Because in the South African game, I think Mwange made a lot of saves in that game, and it's not good for a team.
It's exactly my point. Because when you look at the game against South Africa, the first half, the holding midfielder was exposing the center halves, the center backs. In terms of attacking, after those changes were made, we were okay. But I think we need to stabilize our defense. Our defense can only be stable if we get a central defending midfielder who's in the natural position. There are many players. The coach sees many players. I have watched football. My opinion is very simple. The person who has the energy and we have seen consistently deliver for NAPSA Stars is Dixon Chapa. I know there are others, and the coach watches other games, but I think that is where I saw that we were being exposed in defense a bit before we stabilized in the second half. But it was a great comeback for the team, excellent, great comeback. And suffice to say, I think the assistant referee, the lady who was the assistant referee in Kenya, the one who disallowed that goal which went in, has been suspended, by the way, and it's fantastic news for us. So for me, that was a 2-2 draw.
but also besides that, I think that game was pathetic, the way the officiating was.
We have a caller on the line. Good afternoon, caller. Your name and where you're calling us from?
Good afternoon, Mr. Tembo.
Good afternoon, Mr. Tembo. What are your views on the question that is scrolling down your screens?
Yeah, I'm following the program. And the great Zambia so far, we seem to be in the right direction so far, following what we've seen in the 3 matches.
Okay.
And on the following your analysis on the discipline of our players, I think you are speaking very well. Let these guys be disciplined. Because when you are coach for the national team, that is the privilege that you are given. So you need to prove to the rest of the Zambians that you are fit to play in the national team. That's my contribution for now. But my other concern is, what about these international players like the person Dakar? What time are they going to be given for them to join the national team, for them to play the other players? Thank you.
Okay, thank you
very
so much,
for
Mr.
your
Tembo.
contribution. Yeah, Mr. Dandika.
Thank you.
Like you were talking about the officiating.
Yeah, the officiating was pathetic, and it's good Sekafa and these other people noted. And that's how it should be, because that's one of the things which bring us down as Africans to make headway at the world level. So we hope that necessary things will be done, but also it's a sad situation. Sad news indeed. Now, the issue of Patson and Mwepu, the coach also said that actually he's given them videos to watch and a certain style. So the fact that they were not with the team, it doesn't mean they were blunt. They were watching even themselves.
They're also part of the group.
Yes, they were watching, following, and they've been given certain specific instructions. Yeah, you see, in these days where there's coronavirus, I've been on record to say it's very difficult sometimes. Other clubs will use that. Maybe if there are 1 or 2 cases, there are issues of flights, you know, there are issues of quarantine. So sometimes it's good to not have those so that you know your option B, which Coach Micho has done. So we know that, okay, without these people coming, they are this. And by the way, coach has narrowed them from 7 to, he says 2.5. So we don't know the other half you work on from these foreign university players.
Dandika is talking about
right.
it. I think Coach Micho, during the course of the week, he was analyzing the professionals that he called for these friendlies. I think there were 6 or 7 pros that came to represent the country in the games. After assessing them in the 3 games they played, the coach clearly stated to say, I am not going to consider it.
Sorry, Corruption, sorry to cut you short, we've got a caller on the line.
Hello, good afternoon. Okay, we've lost that caller. Like I was saying, there are 7 players that came to represent the country, and from the performance of the players,
From the 7,
the coach has said only 2.5 might come back for the Botswana game, which means that the opportunity for those that do not make it will be given to them. The discipline of the players and the anger to represent your country, to wear the national colors, should come in, because the opportunity is only going to come once. We have several players out there who are playing soccer. So the opportunity for those that will not make it, apparently you can only come in the future.
2.5.
2.5 is a very, very small number. So that's like 2 to 3 players that are going to be called back out of the 7. That gives Wena Patson, Daka, Enoch Mwepu an opportunity to come.
And impress.
There's Mwapem Sonda who apparently lost when we talk about our center forward. So for the other pros that are coming, my only hope is that pride should be in you that you are wearing national colors. The opportunity has been given, grab it with both hands, both on and off the pitch. That is the type of discipline the coach has been instilling in the players, and that's exactly what we want if we are to rebuild and get back to the greatest footballing nation in Africa that we were before.
Okay. You are still watching Off the Pitch here on Camnet TV. You can get interactive, call us on the numbers that are scrolling on your screens. So now we have to shift camp away from the national team. Let's take a closer look at the Zambian Super League.
By the way, he also played Mamelodi Sundowns, eh?
Yeah, Orlando Pirates.
Players. Also
yes.
the Orlando Pirates, just local players. And the idea is he gave opportunity to all those local players who didn't play. Yeah, fringe players basically to help.
So, but they're not fringe because there's Chepesh who played in that game. So it's the best team in Zambia and the world at large, Red Arrows Football Club.
I hear you. I'm not going to be
it was in 2004 when they lifted the title.
You've got to understand that the greatest club in this country is playing Charity Shield next weekend.
In Deni, yes, you are very right. Let's get to the transfer market. We've seen a lot of movements. Yeah. One of the players were just from talking about Kelvin Kampamba Mwanga moving to Zesco United. Who are the biggest winners in this transfer market?
Oh, it's Zesco. Because if Zesco is not playing any careful games and the players are trooping there, Zesco have won the player. It worries for us from Ghana, the problems which they have had and the players to leave. At one point, Sate said somebody should buy off my contract and things like that. Now, Zesco, obviously, they are telling us they will be serious contenders for the Super League next season because you can see the way they are buying. The other team which has been serious on the top 4 bracket, those who are representing us on CAF competitions, is NAPSA. I mean, NAPSA has bought a lot, so people are questioning, is it the quality or quantity? We are yet to see. but they are telling us something.
We have got a call on the line. Good afternoon. You are through to Off the Pitch, and I'm Augustine on the line. Who is I speaking to?
This is Amore.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You are through to Off the Pitch. Sorry, we've lost the caller.
Yeah, so I had the privilege to watch this big 6 clubs.
The tournament.
Yes,
together.
Yeah, we were together actually. Otieno had made a very intelligent pass and obviously Napsa to score. So we had to see more of these players who were together with Rabi at that time. And signing is a good thing, but whether those players will replicate what should be on the pitch, that's another. We are yet to see, but at least Napsa have shown us are serious, and the fact that they brought Ona Janza who borders as a technical director and also acting general manager. So again, of course, his role is administrative. The head coach is too fat, and I spoke to both of them. They says no, very clear. And Owner Janza said, me, I'm a professional, I will not intervene, as people were saying. Yeah, but all in all, I think there are worries with Forest Rangers. So they've bought here and there, but they haven't really had that impact. You know, Nkana, it's good with the ban was lifted. We hope they'll settle that amount with the Ghanaian keeper so that it's done and dusted. It's good, yeah, so that they can rebound, because Kalampa really, to be humiliated in continental football, we don't want to see a situation like that in our game.
Uncle Rapson, what's your view on the just ended transfer window? Do you think the teams that are representing Zambia in continental football have really done enough?
Yeah, Nkana has been on the quiet side. Green Eagles, apparently they have acquired the one I thought is one of the best goalkeepers around for Ghana Football Club. Alan Chibwe has trekked to Choma. And we saw the Green Eagles play in the Big Six, the so-called Big Six at Tiro Stadium. The preparations, the only team that I'm worried about whether they are preparing and we don't know about it is Forest Rangers. Of the four that are in continental football, Forest Rangers is neither here nor there. I saw their performance, very, very questionable performance. The tactical approach to the games was just neither here nor there. In Delhi Football Club, look like they are the ones who are gunning for continental glory, and yet they are just coming into the Premier League for the first time in a very, very long time. So for me, I think when you look at the preparations, maybe we still have a month to go. We will see when the Zambian Super League kicks off in the next 2 weeks. We will see how they've prepared. But clearly, when you look at the transfer window and who has acquired who, I think for me the biggest winners who are not even in continental here is Power Dynamos. The Zakaria Chirongoji, for me, one of the best left backs this country will have. Of course, after the demise of one Hilary Makasa in the books of the left back in this country, Hilary was one of my best left backs the country has ever produced.
Yeah, but also the worrying situation is Green Eagles. Actually, Spencer Sautu left them. He's gone to our yellow, our Usaka.
Is he called the mayor of Soma? They call him the mayor.
Yeah, so which is
one down to Dynamos for
which is a worrying sign, because either is a team playing continental and your main man is not with you, because already Kaseva left, you the Synapsa, and so I think, and you know, Green Eagles, they don't have a policy to sign any foreigner, because I mean it's a army sponsored team under ZNS. Yeah. So, but Coach Chiangi has had to do with whatever he has had, yeah, in his rank and file.
When you look at the material that Agre Chiangi has at Green Eagles, I think that team has been very, very consistent, if you ask me. This is the second season running, consistently playing at a very high level, both in the Zambian league and on the continent of Africa. So we hope that this time around they will go past the stage they were knocked out last time, so that we are able to. They've upgraded their stadia very, very well, and I'm sure they are ready for continental football.
Yeah. So, Mr. Tandika Chiro and Uncle Rapson, I want us to look at three aspects of this entire transfer business that has been done. Which team do you think will be the worst? Will be the dark horses, like we may call them? Who will be the most surprised packaged? Who will maybe be successful this season, and who will be the biggest losers from this transfer business that we have had?
Yeah. Well, it's debatable, but one of the things we have seen is the top four is no longer the top four. I think Zanaco and Zesco have been displaced. And the question mark at Zesco is, why did they allow Luandamina to get players and that he was on his way out, to be shown in the exit door? Because it's a coach who should be saying, I need that player, so that they fit into his philosophy and his formation. But we are yet to see. However, Forest, are they genuine contenders next season? We are yet to see. Because the league obviously did not end as it was because of
they were obviously the surprise package of last season.
Exactly, and they were on top by that time. We had to see how they'll fare. If you look at Nkana, I mean, Nkana should expect them to be among top four to bounce. It's obvious.
Thank you, Tandika.
Yeah, so we had to see. Power is like they're also crawling back. We had to see. It's a legendary club. The likes of NAPSA, we're yet to see with the signing they've done, because it tells me they've got a big bench, you know, apart from the 11, even those would sit on the bench. But whether they've signed the quality or quantity, we'll see the season how it will fare. But actually they've reinforced, so I expect them to compete top 4. So it will be very competitive if you look at top 5. Yeah, Green Eagles, we're yet to see. I think they're also slow starters. In my view, they're the most disappointing of the top 4. Because I expected last time when they almost won, they were robbed that goal, just going to win on penalties. I expected Green Eagles to win this league, or at least to finish second. But anyway, they're playing Confederations Cup. Yeah, so otherwise we're yet to see. I think the other teams which are here, there. Yeah, so it's very difficult. But obviously, the usual suspect, one would think, the likes of Buildicon. I think for me, Buildicon, at the rate they are going, is worrying. This is a team at one point, it brought a lot of these foreign-based players, but the problem is, it is their CEO, Mr. Mubanga, was buying and not the coach. Again, you have a problem. A coach comes barely a year, he's shown the door. So you can't stabilize.
This is their 4th season in the Premier League, and they have had, is it 97 players?
Yeah, you can't stabilize like that. So maybe that's what it is.
What's your thoughts? What's your thoughts? Ladies and gentlemen, those of you who are watching us live in the studio, please feel free to call us in. You can also follow us on Camnet TV. Download the app on Play Store and follow us on Camnet TV, and you'll be able to contribute from there. We will see you on the other side as we take a commercial break now.
Msika is here. We have you all covered with just 150 kwacha. You can advertise every day from 17 hours to 18 hours. For a 30-second ad, get the benefit of selling your products and services on Msika. For more details, call our marketing department on +260 953 995099 +260 962 444 726 or +260 971 177 467. Email us on info@camnettvafrica.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back. You're still watching Off the Pitch here on Camnet TV, not just another channel. We are discussing a lot of football issues, and we have from talking about the just ended transfer window. Who are the biggest winners and losers? You can add your voice to that. Call the numbers that are scrolling on your screen, or you can log on to our Facebook page, leave a comment, and we'll get back to you. So now let's take a look at the news which broke during the week. Trident Football Club, the team which went unbeaten during the regular season and lost it in the playoffs, they have been offered an opportunity to play in the National League. How was your reaction?
Well, my reaction didn't come as a surprise, because Nakambala, even if the sponsors to withdraw, FAS were also going to meet a punishment, because according to disciplinary code, it should be at 110 and 112. It talks of unfulfilling of fixtures, where if it's 3 games, you pay a fine, and if FAS can even suspend you. And we know, obviously, FAS were thinking of taking them down, because the people communicated to FAS at that time, it was not the executive committee. Who are their officials? It was the sponsor. Again, they did it the wrong way. So now that the sponsor is confirmed that they'll go to district football, well, it's good for them to reorganize. But you see, the excuse we are using of coronavirus, isn't it not with us? It is still with us. And a lot of cases in Mazabuka, we've seen people getting coronavirus. Those who are symptomatic and symptomatic, you know, who have been infected. So all in all we are seeing is, let's do things for the good of the game. Trident, definitely they are the natural successors. Looking at them, they wanted, in fact somebody was saying, no, the time they've been given to confirm. No, because the fact that you participated in playoffs, you were ready.
You are ready for the national.
Yes, and that's the statement. So for them, we await their confirmation, should be able to hear. It will be good news for them because they competed, and now it's an addition, a team from Northwestern.
Yes.
So they will join the likes of Lumwana, you know, and things like that. So it's good for them.
What are your thoughts? We have got a caller on the line. Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Gatti.
Good afternoon. Who is on the line?
I'm here.
I'm alright. How are you?
I'm okay, my guy. How are you?
We are good. We are with Mr. Tandika here and Uncle Robson.
I've seen, I was watching you guys, not like, no, let me call in and give my view and opinion as well.
Okay, you can go ahead.
I'm Robson, you're supposed to be one of Gatti is. What's wrong with you?
What are your views on the question that is scrolling on the screen, Amos?
For me personally, I feel like the preparations that we've had are okay, and I expect the guys to give us a good result at the end of the day. Looking at, by now our coach has to know that this combination goes with this one. So if we get a poor result, then it will be maybe the boys to blame, not the coach for me.
Okay. Thank you very much for coming through, Amos. Hope to see you next week. So, like you were saying.
Okay, Tandika was on the floor talking about Trident. But for me, really, my view is very, very simple. Trident FC won the Northwestern Province Championship unbeaten. They came to the qualifiers at Rilai. They came out fifth. Clearly, the path to going into the National League is something that they cannot say we are not prepared. They won the championship in Northwestern, they came for playoffs, they really played hard, they pushed hard, they were fifth. So automatically, the disappointment of Nagambala Football Club, like Tandika said, for me, the sponsors, Zambia Sugar, they should, I don't know what has happened to that company, because it's like the resources, they are pulling out resources from the team, because you can't be that mean to the team, because you see the career of the boys from the Premier League, you start playing district football, it's very, very disappointing. However, I think they were also prepared because they had a pending issue with FAS. So probably they have melted their own punishment on themselves before FAS does it. So for me, I don't see Trident failing to participate in the National League. We await their confirmation during the course of the week, and we'll probably see what is going on.
And I personally called for that punishment because it was unprofessional from Nakambala from the point. Yes, because
I recall
it was
even
very,
prior
very unprofessional.
to the league coming to an end.
Yes, because
very,
I think
especially
they had the hand in how they had influence. Yes.
But in this case, Robinson hopefully will not stone you because Nkana benefited.
We are beneficiaries.
The 3 points and the 3 goals. In fact, Nkana this season benefited 6 points and 6 goals. And if you compare the way Forest Rangers lost, barely by a difference of 4 goals. So it tells you Nkana really the blessings of the boardroom.
No, but they also they were in control. They failed to beat Zanaco.
Yes, they did.
They had everything in their hands. Zanaco was playing for nothing. So Forest Rangers, if they really wanted it, they only had a chance of beating that team. And
we've been receiving some news from Mazabuka to say the players were just given a few days before the close of the transfer window, say find new clubs.
So practically they can't move. They are stuck. So where will you go and who will make contacts? Because it's a process. So arguably for me, the sponsor must take care, because those players are their employees, and ensure that, I hope they will not change the conditions of service.
But the beauty is if they let go of the players, they will be released as free agents, so they should be able. But the only problem they will face is, wherever they want to go and play, players have been preparing for
the season.
upcoming season, and to go and join a team at the last hour, you really need to be a very, 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 very good player to convince a coach to take you on, because the coach has been training with a team that he wants to start the league with. So it will be very, very difficult. It's unfortunate for the boys of Nakambala, the Sweet Boys. It's very, very disappointing for them, really.
I think we've just from touching on the National League. The champions of the National League, Indeni Football Club, play the Super League champions in Ghana Football Club in a charity shield match.
Yeah, the oil men.
You were part of the media which was covering the 6-team tournament at the National Hero Stadium. How would you rate Indeni's chances going into this match?
I would rate them very highly. And actually in Ghana, maybe embarrassed. They have to be very careful. Because you see, at first when the matches started, we thought of Green Eagles, Green Buffaloes humiliating Nakambala. Everybody say, Green Buffaloes is their tournament. And people also eyeing an up, but from nowhere, the oil men came all the way. You know, they oiled everybody and they became the champions. So I believe that it's a team which has nothing to lose. What's in Ghana is the pedigree, you know, and the name to protect. So the pressure will be more on Ghana than Indeni, because Indeni they will be playing to prove a point, and they have nothing to lose, as I've said, in this charity shield.
And they've got a very demanding coach in David.
Yeah, David obviously at one point was assistant at Zanaco to coach Numba Mumamba. So he knows Super League football. He's been there before, and even reaching this far, it will be very interesting. But one of the things I've seen is an attacking team. So we had to see how Nkana fare now. They letting Galeka go, and their new team, which will have an indication what they will transport to us in the continent of football.
Uncle Robson.
Indeni versus Ghana, the game, for those of you who have just tuned in, the game is it's a charity shield game. Yeah. It's scheduled to take place next weekend, and the venue is yet to be confirmed. I think Football Association of Zambia will be
on Tuesday. We understand there will be a
week.
sponsor on Tuesday to be unveiled.
Yeah, we will be able to know when and where it will be played from. But over and above that, I think, like Tandika said, I have a soft spot for Ghana Football Club, but I think going into this match, a technical analysis of what is likely to happen is that Indeni is going to be forced to reckon with in this particular match. Of course, Ghana is not a pushover. We've got Idris Ilunga Mbombo is still with the club. I have seen on our list Kelvin Marunga is still in between the posts, and the departure of Alan Chibwe gives him an opportunity to break into the main team and become Ghana #1. So the game that will be held on this coming weekend, it will be a wake-up call. We've not seen a lot of games that Ghana has been playing competitively in their preparations, but I think when you look at Indeni, they came to Lusaka, proved everybody wrong, and went away with a trophy. And I'm sure Indeni oil is flowing in the players' fluidity in the body, and that's how those boys managed to win the tournament. It was a very great tournament for them, and we look forward to that game on Saturday.
Yeah. So now, let's cross borders. Looking at the Zambian players who are playing abroad. South Africa, the news which came through, Justin Shonga signing for TTM, the team which was beat the Sweets, now it's TTM. Yeah. What was your take? Because we've seen Shonga come out say he wasn't aware of that transfer.
Yeah, because initially we knew Augustine, you had an exit door, but for Shonga and Mowo, we are still with the club until latest information emerges that he's also on his way out. What is important is for Shonga to have game time. Shonga is too young. He's rated below 25 years of age. What he should do is avoid off-the-pitch issues. He's made headlines in the wrong way. Yeah. If he does that, he concentrates. Who knows? He may just come back. So what is important is for him to prove a point there where he is going and he have game time. That's all. His performance, after all, I mean, it's Coach Mitchell who brought them to, by then he was coaching Orlando Pirates, him and Augustine, and he got the best out of them. So he can still bring them back because there's already a relationship. And it's a question of monitoring their match fitness and other things. So it's up to him, Shonga, really, to prove. He shouldn't be an issue. Yes, he's coming from a bigger club, definitely. But it is there at a smaller club, he can make an impact even going to a bigger club than where he was at his previous club.
My worry for TTM, I've been following their transfers. You know, they have like bought close to 7 players in a very, very short space of time. And Augustine is part of them, and Justin Chonga, like you had, like Tandika was saying. The issue I have is TTM has pumped in a lot of money in the new team, the rebranded team, Bidvest. There's plenty of money, and the players they have bought are veteran players who have left bigger clubs. My worry is it should not lead them to how we experienced Beautcon in Zambia. You cannot, okay, yeah, it's, money is speaking for them and they can buy whoever they want at this point. But my worry is there are too many senior players who are playing at a very high level. They've been released by the clubs and now they've gone back to assemble at TTM. The coach has a lot of work to gel that team together so that they perform competitively in the PSL. Talking about players abroad, it was very, very disappointing for Mwapem Sonda's debut yesterday in the United Arab Emirates.
And you were against him signing for...
I clearly stated, I said, Black Leopards in South Africa was a better team. But of course there are a lot of factors to take into account for a player to leave a club. And I'm sure the biggest influencer of players to move is just the financial gain. He left Black Leopards, went into United Arab Emirates, joined the Hatta FC. He made his debut yesterday and they lost, humbly lost by 6 goals to 0. So that is one of the players, Mwapem Sonda, our Zambia national soccer team center forward, made the debut and they lost by 6 goals to 0. Back into our neighboring countries, Tanzania, we had Aubrey Chirwa, who was shut down due to flight technicalities together with Cletus Chama. He was in a game. His team, Azam Football Club, beat their opponents by 3 goals to 0. He was responsible for a brace. Congratulations to Aubrey Chirwa for those wonderful 2 goals. I think for me, taking you back to the girls' football again, when you talk about players playing abroad,
Barbara Banda.
We had Barbara Banda and Kundananji. Kundananji was actually a top scorer in their league. She came out top scorer and they played the whole 8 games unbeaten as a club. And for me, that is a great plus to the ladies' football. This morning I was actually watching the under-17 training at Zamshu Sports Complex. I think we are building a very, very good team. I saw the coaches and the youngsters, and apparently the reason why I even brought those kids that we are training this morning, the message was, look at the girls that are playing abroad. That was the message the coach was delivering to the young girls during training. So they are also looking at these ladies, these girls who are playing abroad to be their inspiration. And
as we are looking at players abroad, I think we shouldn't forget to congratulate Patson Daka and Klings Kango for clinching the Player of the Month at their respective clubs. I think it's very, very impressive. If you look at Klings, his development, do you think he's one player we can rely on as a nation that he will be a very, very big star in future? Back-to-back Player of the Month.
Yeah, I mean, it's a positive news. In fact, the coach Mitch was on record to say he was humbled to see Klings giving boots to Joseph Sabobo Banda, you know, and there it is. So the heart he has shown, yeah, I think with time, he needs to make a name, and it's good that in these lower leagues in Europe, they should make an impact whilst they are there and develop as players. Yeah, so for Patson, yeah, we say congratulations, Klings Kangwa, congratulations, and hope that they can do more often of those to attract other clubs in future.
And Go Rapson, what's your take on the accolades from our boys?
Well, Patson Daka, big congratulations to him. It's not something that is news to me now. The level of his football speaks volumes. So we shouldn't be surprised when he gets this Sky Sports Player of the Month award. That should be his lifestyle. It should be his lifestyle now, because he's gone to a level where winning those Player of the Month awards should be his natural phenomenon in him. Because we know him as a very, very lethal striker, and I'm glad to say they are back on the field of play this weekend. Club football is back, and we can only wish them all the best as they prepare for their league matches.
Yeah. Now we cross to Europe. As we are speaking, Liverpool is taking on Everton in a Merseyside derby, and guess who's on the score sheet? The guy who had coronavirus, Sadio Mane. He's back and scoring for Liverpool. Yes. So looking at the fixtures for today, Everton taking on Liverpool, which is currently being played. Then we've got Chelsea playing Southampton. Man City will take on Arsenal. Newcastle will host the struggling Manchester United. The director is not happy. Then Sheffield United versus Fulham. Crystal Palace versus Brighton.
One game at a time.
Yes.
Let's look at the current game that is going on.
Liverpool versus Everton. Merseyside derby.
Clearly, the Merseyside derby is not an easy derby. Yeah. There's history that holds these two clubs together, Everton and Liverpool. And for me, clearly, you can tell the missing link for Liverpool in the previous games they had. Yeah. It was Sadio Mane. Now he's back on the pitch and he has already scored for them. The African lads are representing this continent very well in Europe.
We are blessed. Mr. Tandika.
In fact, at one point they were one, then they separated Liverpool and Everton. Sadio Mane is the man. I mean, people want to deny here and there, but Liverpool without Sadio Mane, they're
not the same
team. Yeah, they're not
if you take out the two Africans from Liverpool, Salah and Mane, they're different.
But even when Salah is there, it's not. It's Sadio Mane normally who feeds him and who scores, because Salah has been more of a selfish player. Sadio Mane does even defend. He does a lot of dunk work for Liverpool.
And talking about the African sons, we may see a debutant in Thomas Partey, Arsenal playing Man City. What a big match at
yes, he's a very big, very good midfielder. I've seen him what he was able to do in La Liga at Atletico Madrid. And this is a player is yet to make an impact. And I just wish that combination with Aubameyang, Lacazette, will be just deadly. So we are hoping for him to settle, but to do the best.
See, I am glad the young man is making a debut today, and I think for me, Man City should look out for a very, very tough game today, because they are missing KDB. KDB got injured during the course of the week when he was playing for his country. So he's not part of the team that is facing Arsenal today. And for Arsenal, they have gained a player who's probably making his debut today in the absence of KDB, who is the engineer of the Manchester City's attacks this season. They were really, really missing. And for me, my take is I would say Arsenal will take the day.
And having in mind they don't have Sergio Aguero or Gabriel Jesus to call upon, and then they've struggled down the middle to try and find someone to find the goals. But moving forward to a struggling club, my director will not be happy about this. Newcastle host Manchester United. Do you think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the man in trouble? He's living on borrowed time.
At the heart of defense, you see people like Harry Maguire. So I support Manchester in England, but I mean, they're just the worst ever I've seen. You know, the best ever partnership, it was between
Nemanja
Vidic and Rio Ferdinand. That one was solid rock. Yeah. And I don't know why Ole has even maintained the armband on him. We saw him red-carded when playing for England for an unnecessary foul in the 30th minute. So, I mean, it's a match you watch with Panados on your side and water to drink. Yeah, so, it will be too close to call. In the past, it used to be a game of goals, Newcastle and Manchester. But now it reduced. But maybe Manchester may just scrape through with my worry of the defense.
Tandika, when you are discussing Manchester United, you should worry about me. I'm around here.
And the director as well.
By the way, there are some people who have nicknamed the Kawasochongo as Harry Maguire. Captain Maguire.
So for me, Manchester United, I think we have serious problems here at centre back. Harry Maguire has been a miss. We've seen the inconsistencies of Eric Bailly and the combination of Lindelof and Harry Maguire. Probably even me in my youthful days, I can't count those as defenders who can stop me. Because, you know, he single-handedly lost a match for England. Yeah. But how would you get a red card for unnecessary foul in the 30th minute? Yeah. That is the player that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is depending on to defend in that particular match.
And paid 80 million for.
And giving him an armband of all the things, really, it's so strange. And I'm only hoping that one day he's going to wake up and decide otherwise. Otherwise, that game for me, Newcastle United, they haven't been very consistent. So for me, the upper hand is on Manchester United carrying the day.
Yeah, before we move away from the Premier League, Paul Pogba's one-year extension has been triggered. He's going to extend his contract. Do you think he's the right man to stay at United? Because ever since he signed from Juventus for, is it 100 million? I think his performances have been up and down every week.
Yeah, it's a good observation. At Juventus, he played well. He went back to Manchester. Manchester needs him for the sake of stability and transition, because you cannot just have Bruno Fernandes. Pogba is the player. Yes, he's an attacking midfielder, but he can also play as a wider midfielder, or to say on the wing. He can also defend, although he's not a defensive midfielder. Yes. Yeah, but you need a Pogba who would be able to string those passes, killer passes, to win you matches. You know, and the confidence and the just leadership he brings in the team.
If you want to talk about Didier Drogba, since performance for France, he was on top of his game when France was playing in midweek. I think Didier Deschamps clearly stated to say Paul Pogba, with time, will become the hub of his French national team.
But when? Because he's aging.
He's still young, man.
Yeah, he's still young.
Pogba is still young. Very, very young. He's probably...
I think these are the prime years of his career. Everyone expects
no. We are yet to see his best.
No.
Maybe we'll never reach his best.
Did you see, Augustine, in football, these are phases. Players go through these phases.
Yes.
For me, I'll come back to, I know we've left South Africa, but Justin Chonga, he labored a point to discuss his career. That guy is just about 25 years old. He's gone through this phase. All he needs is somebody to manage him and manage his activities on and off the pitch. He's going to be back at his best. Same things for Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba he's been forced in games. He had coronavirus at some point, and now he's recovering. He still has football in his legs, and Manchester United need him. We really need that guy. We can get as many players as possible, but the stability in midfield. When he wakes up and is on top of his game, you can't catch Paul Pogba. And Newcastle is in for it this evening.
Yeah. Now we move to La Liga Loca. We look at the start of Ronald Koeman's time at Barcelona. I think he's unbeaten, and they're going away to a tricky Getafe. How do you see Barcelona's chances in this match?
Well, Barcelona really have revived because Ansu Fati is the difference. Otherwise, most of the limelight is on it. Messi has been outshone. So we've seen a certain Barcelona where they are not relying everything on Messi as it used to be. Messi has little contribution actually. We've seen Barcelona playing, but Koeman has found a very good team. So maybe we'd add one or two things, but tactically Barcelona is already a good side. So we expect them to win as long as Ansu Fati is on top of his game. I think he's the man of the moment. We've seen him doing for Barcelona, breaking records in La Liga. We've seen him for Spain, breaking records. So, I mean, at his age, he's a starter in the Spanish national team. We should take
Which is not easy.
No, it's not easy, and the man of the color, for that matter. So, Barcelona should be able to win this fixture.
Uncle Robson, Real Madrid take on Cadiz, the newly promoted side.
There's nothing to talk about in that match.
Eden Hazard, ever injured?
You see, certain transfers go with certain... I feel sorry for Hazard. He hasn't had his full fitness, and missing games because of injuries is not very good for a player. But in this particular match, Real Madrid, I think Zizou has done his job, and this should be a very, very easy game for Real Madrid.
And 20th of October, the UEFA Champions League is back,
PSG.
And we see a cracker at the Parc des Princes. Manchester United going to PSG.
With Harry Maguire
in the defense, and you're meeting the likes of Neymar and Mbappe. It will be tormented, certainly. Is it Holy, one of the attacks?
So is it a disaster at the Parc des Princes?
No. Remember, we've done it before.
Yeah.
We were. Remember how we played in France when everybody least expected us to win that match? It can still happen. I've got hope. But clearly, if Mbappe wakes up and Neymar at the top of their game, our defense. It's a disaster.
It's in shambles.
It's in shambles. It's a very, very big disaster, really. If you look at the way, like last night, I think I had an opportunity to watch PSG yesterday. These guys are massacring teams as if they're in training.
Yeah.
When you see their performance last night, PSG, and you see a lanky Manchester United, when they meet in the Champions League, it will probably be an issue of you having some tablets next to you, trying to avoid headaches and blood pressure. That striking force at PSG is going to torment us as Man United.
Yeah, and we've got the big one for the Zambians. Lokomotiv, Red Bull Salzburg play host to Lokomotiv Moscow. How big is it for Salzburg, looking at the group they're in there with the mighty Bayerns and Atletico Madrid? How important is it that they start strongly in this game?
Yeah, it should be, because this is the weakest team. They have to be. The rest is a question about how many goals you will lose. You know, it's quite tough, but they said Bayern Munich is more of a disciplinary committee. Oh yes, on you know, without exception. So I hope this is the moment for the likes of Person Daka to make a name. Let him score another goal so that he should be the Zambian all-time top scorer
in the Champions
League history.
Yeah. That game, Augustine, for me, if Red Bull Salzburg have prepared themselves very well, it's a matter of working on goal difference. That particular game, it's the only game that they can get into a match with positivity that this one is already in the bag. The other two games will not be easy. So if they start strong, probably, I know what happens in the group stages. It's just an issue of starting strong, probably wanting to gain a draw away from home, and taking home advantage and beating the unlucky stars who are visiting them. Probably, for me, if they start strong on that game, they have a high possibility of getting through to the next stage.
Yeah, and there is Patson Daka in form. There is the Hungarian Dominic Jabajlo. I think they will be very, very key to this game. Enoch Mwepu. Yeah. Do you think he will play an integral part in the success of Salzburg?
Well, he has no option but to do it, because if he can't shine in this game, where will he also be when you meet the Giants? It's very difficult. So I hope that our boys will raise their game and will do their best. This is the time to make a name. And they are still developing players, so we are able to see the best of them.
And if you look at the round of fixtures for this, the biggest game in this first round of fixtures is it's obviously Bayern hosting Atletico Madrid. How big of a game will it be?
Diego Simeone. Yeah. It will be a cracker of a match, if you ask me. Very, very, very good game. And I had the chance to watch Atletico Madrid in the new season, and I think the acquisition of
Luis Suarez.
Juan Suarez has brought life into that team, and they've been very, very lethal. And Bayern Munich, well, they might just drop their heads because they think they have it all. So chances are that because of the success they've had and the players they have, it's just logical that at some point they lose their heads. And once they drop their heads, that's the time that these other small clubs, the so-called small clubs they look at, are going to wake up and do them some justice. They've melted a lot of discipline on other teams. Yeah. But they will be unfortunate one day.
They were unfortunate against Offenheim. They were beaten by 4 goals to 1.
Oh yes, and in this match, obviously, the player to look at is Alfonso, because he's the fastest player in Europe. At some point, his speed was compared to the cheetah in the initial stages. So we are to see, but I mean, ATM is not a pushover.
They go against a defensive.
I mean, they embarrassed Liverpool for the first time as Champions League defender, beating them home and beating them away, which has never happened in the history of Liverpool and European football.
And if you look at that game which Mr. Tandika has just touched on, we saw the revelation of one Rolente. He was being played as a holding midfielder, went at Anfield and he was played as a number 10, and from that day on he has never looked elsewhere. He's just going forward. Do you think Atletico Madrid style will frustrate Bayern at the Allianz Arena?
You see, Diego Simeone's philosophy of the type of game that he plays, he just needs to clap the wings. Yeah. Bayern Munich is strong on the outfield, in the wings, and once he does his homework, you block Alphonso Davies from coming up and down. You watch that guy, then it will be a great match, because Atletico Madrid is not a pushover really. Diego Simeone has done a bit of some work there with a lot of consistency actually. They've played in Europe a couple of seasons and in the Champions League. I really see a very, very tough game for Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
Very tough.
So I think we'll do a disservice to the world if we don't talk about Cristiano Ronaldo's illness. Yeah, he was found positive of COVID-19. How much of a blow will it be to Juventus as they go into the Serie A and the Champions League respective?
Oh, it will be, because this is the player also coming from international match, was able to score 2 goals for Portugal, and he's been heavily relied on. Now with even with Juventus, he's a leading scorer right now. So it will be a big blow. And we're talking of, I think, a match in Champions League he may have to miss. This is a really big blow, and we hope that he quickly he returns to the game and on top of his form. The
beauty about Ronaldo's illness is that he's not positive.
No, he's not showing those symptoms.
He doesn't have the symptoms. He's just been isolated. Chances of him recovering quicker than we all think are very high. So now, for Juventus, they are happy. They have an easy game. They have an easy game today. They are playing a very easy game. So the feeling of missing him, they'll miss his presence, yes. But I think they have enough for Arsenal to fight back and win. The biggest game of the day today is the derby, Milan versus Milan.
AC Milan versus Inter.
That will be a game to watch. That will be a very game to watch. Because no one is at home, no one is away. They play in the same stadium. And they are probably going to miss the top player, who's the soccer fan, to make the noise and just cheer the players. But that will be a very tough game.
For me,
if you ask me, my take is on Inter Milan carrying the day.
And what's your prediction in the Milan derby? They call it the Derby della Madonnina.
Yeah. AC in the past used to carry the day, but looking at the Inter Milan, I think they are just at a different level.
Yeah. AC Milan, of course, if you are looking at the history, they've won all their last 5 games. So chances of them winning the match are very high. But according to the history, I would say Inter will carry the day.
I think it's been an interesting show, but unfortunately, due to time, we've come to the close of the show. Mr. Tandika Chirwa, it's been a pleasure hosting you. Hope to see you soon again. And what are your closing remarks?
Well, I'm also delighted to bounce back on this show, and I'm available. And all I would say is to the football world, let's support the coach. I think let's understand his philosophy. Let's be there. Ultimately, let's give him the leeway to operate and do influence and unpalatable language. It does not make sense. I think all of us, let's move together in one direction and ensure that it is done for the good of the game.
Uncle Rapson?
Coach Mitchell, carry on with the work. We are behind you, and I think we will have the correct ammunition, the correct plan for the national team, and we look forward to the games against Botswana, where we are going to do justice and prove to the rest of the Facebook coaches that your work will come to fruition actually. As we close, let me make mention that during the course of the week, our executive director was celebrating his 60th birthday. Big up to you, Pastor Moses Chirova. Happy birthday. We love you. And
happy birthday to you, sir.
Happy birthday to you. It was very nice to spend time with you, and it was a fantastic Wednesday. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and there's a special message for the panel. An ardent viewer who says is Kambwila Emmanuel Mulenga. He's always asking what's the talking points for the weekend. He's always tuned in. I think a big up to him. Should invite a lot of people to watch Off the Pitch. We come to your screens every Saturday at 12:45, and unfortunately, we've come to the end of the show. We will be with you next week, and when I come on set next week, I will be a year older. On Wednesday, it is my birthday on the 21st, and Uncle Rapson promised me to buy me a Vitz. He promised me a Vitz.
It will come.
Thank you very much to all the viewers who tuned in to watch Off the Pitch. It's been good interacting with you. Thank you for those who phoned in. Amos Lungu, hope to see you next week. And to the entire production team, I've been your host, Augustine Mwanza, aka Rio Flowers. We're out.